But yeah, so basically I'm here with Rob and so these are the guys who run Devastation. If you guys have not heard of Devastation, you guys should talk about it. Introduce yourselves maybe and talk about Devastation a bit.
All right, well, why don't we start with you, Bryan?
Okay, well, I'm Bryan Dawson, Dr. Dog to most gamertag people, Xbox Live, PSN. And basically, I am director of programming for Devastation. I also write strategy guides for Prima Games. And I'm kind of all over the place, mainly fighting games.
I am Robb Chiarini. I am known as Jedi Robb. I am the event director for Devastation. Have been since 2005 when it started.
So Devastation, did you kind of go in a little detail about what that is exactly? Like when is it? What does it do? Like, can everyone just go in there and play? Stuff like that.
Okay, sure. So for those who don't know out there, Devastation is a national gaming tournament and convention. We're held in Phoenix, Arizona. We used to be in June. We've moved to October. So we're October 7th through the 9th this year in Phoenix Convention Center. And Devastation is a large event. Like, I don't want to call it a tournament. A lot of people say tournament. A lot of events are like that, where you just come, you pay a fee, and you get run through the meat grinder and go away, where Devastation is far larger than that. We actually do competitive gaming, but we also have casual play. We do cosplay contest, rock, paper, scissors. We do a lot of fun stuff, as well as we staff a huge casual gaming area. And whenever we're not using tournament setups, we have lots of areas and space for people just to sit and meet and play with players from around the country. And so it's much more than just like a tournament. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I doing that? Can you hear me now, right? Sorry. No, Fish Sticks. Thanks, Fish Sticks. Just shout out. So, again, it's a national convention and tournament, so it's a lot of stuff rolled into a 60,000 square foot. For those who have never seen 60,000 square foot, it is a football field, an NFL regulation football field full of gaming stuff. So it's pretty unique out there in the market.
Yeah, that's awesome. What else? So what are both of your roles with Devastation exactly? You said you were kind of running the event. Like, what do you do for Devastation, like specifically?
Well, I'm the director of programming for Devastation. Basically, I'm in charge of making sure all the tournaments and everything runs well. Making sure that, if anybody has any problems with tournaments, with brackets, anything like that, because we want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot, certain rules are followed. Like, for example, we don't want anybody pausing mid-match, something like that. So I'm there to make sure that everything runs smooth, people aren't waiting around forever for their next match. And just making sure that we have a lot of programming options, so if somebody wants to come out and not necessarily play in a gaming tournament, they've got a lot of other stuff that they can do. So it's kind of my job to make sure that I'm talking to, all the different people that we have there, to make sure that we've got cosplays and stuff for them to do, that we're looking at doing like live action raids and things of that nature, having central dance-offs, anything we can do for someone who's not necessarily a hardcore gamer but still wants to come out and have fun.
So, what are your guys' favorite parts of Devastation? You said you had Giant Central tournaments, you had rock, paper, scissors. What are your favorite things about the show, like personally?
Sure. Well, for me, I love the diversity of the games that we actually have that are actually official tournaments. So we have our official tournaments that we actually sponsor and put out there and do and run, and then we have community events that we allow people to bring out their own setups and run their own event within an event. So for me, it's the variety. So we have, as Bryan and you just mentioned, Dance Central, Michael Jackson The Experience, Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. We have Marvel's Capcom 3, Soul Calibur. One of our favorites, we just got licensing approval, final approval from Blizzard. We're actually running a StarCraft 2 tournament, which is massive, especially given the people that come out and help run it. Like somebody just mentioned, Sir Squoots and DJ Wheat, Marcus Graham comes out and does a lot of the commentary. We have an all-star cast of commentators that come out and do this stuff. So for me, it's the variety of games and things that you can experience there. Again, we mentioned cosplay. We do 5 cosplay contests out there for people who have no care about gaming, but they love coming out and doing something at a convention feel. Again, rock, paper, scissors, and we have a few other surprises for people as well. So for me, the actual programming and the diversity of it.
What was the question? I'm sorry?
Yeah, what's your favorite part about your favorite event that you love going to?
I would say probably my favorite aspect of Devastation is that it's not just a regular fighting game tournament. Like, I'm used to going to, like, like, for example, this weekend we got CEO and Revelations going on. Like, those are the kind of tournaments that I'm used to going to. But at Devastation, you get way more than just fighting games. Like, when I go to Revelations or whatever, I play, I go maybe 2-2, and I'm done. That's it. Like, I can go play casuals in the hotel room or whatever, but that's it. Like, my tournament is done. Like, the event is done for me, basically. Whereas at Devastation, like, we've got everything. Like, you want to play Halo, play Halo. You want to play Call of Duty, play Call of Duty. You want to play, Tekken, you can play Tekken, Dance Central, whatever. Like, we've got a huge variety, which brings us together all the different gaming scenes. So as opposed to having just everybody that you see at all the fighting game tournaments, you have, your your high-level rock band players. You have, we have people that the tournament they're looking forward to most is Dance Central. We've seen them playing Dance Central, and they're high-level Dance Central players. And it's the things you wouldn't see going to a regular fighting game tournament. So that's probably my favorite aspect of the event.
Awesome. All right, so we're open to take any questions you have here for these guys. They know their stuff about running events. If you want to ask any questions about Devastation themselves, or just any questions about E3, just let us know. So the first question I just want to throw out to you guys is, what are your favorite kinds of games? Like, what do you just like to play? If when you're not running events, you got to go back home, you're relaxing. What do you like to play?
Sure. And for me, it kind of shows in the game set that we bring out there. I play a little bit of everything. I love FPS games. I like racing games. I like action RPGs. Kind of like, I'm not much of an MMO guy, and fighting games for me. I love fighting games. I love sitting there. Again, we talked. He and I played last night. I had a match. I won. And
it was close. It was really close. Okay, the first time we played, it was like random all, and I didn't know any of the characters, and I lost.
Are you talking Street Fighter?
I was doing MVC3. Oh, Street Fighter was sick. Okay, it was Zangief versus my pink T-Hawk.
Zangief.
Yeah, and it was a crazy matchup. We was like, this close, down to the wire. It was close. He's talking.
Yeah, a little bit. And I even lost track of what I was saying. But of the fighting games, I like stuff that I can just come and play for a little bit and hang out and then take off and stuff. So, Bryan?
Like Rob, I mainly like fighting games, but I also play MMOs. Like Final Fantasy 11 is one of my favorite games. Not current Final Fantasy 11. It kind of went easy mode. The older Final Fantasy 11 that was a little bit harder, more party based. I tried to play Final Fantasy 14. It's getting there. Square Enix is working on it. I played it as long as I could. It's still free right now, but I'm hoping that Square Enix gets it to where it can be like the same kind of level as Final Fantasy 11. Beyond that, like I play so many games for work when I'm writing guides and stuff that I don't really play a lot in my free time anymore. So mainly fighting games and the occasional RPG here and there, like Demon Souls. I'm looking forward to Dark Souls as well. But mainly like Tekken, Virtua Fighter when there's a scene. There's not much of a scene for that anymore. I'm recently getting into Mortal Kombat. I've actually been doing all the frame data from Mortal Kombat to kind of help out the community, stuff like that. So.
I mean, Final Fantasy 11, actually, I was also a huge FF11 player. Man, my little tower, oh my god, tower. This is sick. It's crazy. Oh my god. I did like Blue Mage Dragoon. No, the Dragoon/Blue Mage for a while. It was sick. He had 7 jobs at 75. If you guys don't know play Final Fantasy 11, that's sick. That's crazy.
It's too much time on your hands is what that is.
It's too much time. Are you sure you're running out of Devastation? You've been playing 11 all the time.
I haven't got to play, like I told you, like last night, like that was the first time I got to play Street Fighter in about 9 months. Like I actually sat down and played. I'm like, oh wow, I remember this.
For real, that's crazy. Yeah, Dragoon plus Blue Mage is Kamari. That's true. It looks a lot like that. All right, let's see. Questions.
So about Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City.
So I saw a question come in there. If we run any events in Kansas City, not right now. Sorry, football religion. But one of the titles we do have is Madden. We do Madden and FIFA. We do a bunch of sports games at Devastation as well. Anybody else have anything exciting?
All right, so we also had someone ask about how Yakuza Boss was asking how similar is Devastation to the events depicted in the FP. Do you know what that means?
Oh, okay, all right. So first of all, we don't have DDR. We have Dance Central. We may even have Just Dance there as well. But first of all, there are no cage matches. So I know the FP has some DDR cage matches. If you lose, you don't die. We actually let you play in more tournaments. There aren't random people running around without all their clothes on. Although, if you pay a little extra, we may be able to hook up something like that. On the down low. We don't tell Jenny Robb about that room. But we are going to have cosplay competitions there, which means you are going to see a lot of people in not so much clothing. Dress up as their favorite video game character, or dress up as just, general cosplay. I know you guys have seen pictures of good cosplayers. And I can't guarantee every cosplayer is going to be good, but, we do have some decent-looking cosplayers that are already planning on coming to the event. So while we won't have any DDR cage matches of death, we will try to have something as close to that as possible.
So we had a question that's, up here a little bit. Someone's asking, Muddy Donuts asking, do you look for all the things in the game and for a strategy guide? Like, how does writing a strategy guide work? Talk a little bit about that, because that's interesting to me. I've never heard of, like, a strategy guide writer,
Okay, so basically, the way it works is a little bit different depending on each company that I'm working with. Some companies obviously have a lot more time to offer help to us than others. It really depends on the deadline of the actual game as well. Like for example, like certain companies, I might get a complete breakdown of everything, whereas other companies I have to figure out a lot of that on my own. But what I try to do when I'm writing guides, I'll have my general outline first of the basic stuff that I want in that guide. And my main focus when I'm writing a guide is to make sure that I have information in there that you could not get just from playing the game. And like for example, the last guide that I wrote was for WWE All Stars. And for that one, like I really tried to go in and figure out, okay, you know, can I get the actual speed of the counters to know how large that window is, things like that, where you couldn't just figure that out by playing the game. Like it's stuff that you'd only be able to find in the strategy guide for WWE All Stars. So I basically just try to go in there and write the best guide that I can in the time that I have, and just try to find everything from the developer that I can, or everything that I can on my own that's not going to be available, that you can't really find just by playing it. And that's, you know, through debug modes of the game, things of that nature, just something that you're not going to be able to just, you know, I opened up to the guide and I read all this stuff, and it's stuff that I could have figured out on my own. Like, I try to avoid that stuff. I mean, you're going to have some of that stuff in there anyway because it's a strategy guide, but I want stuff so you open up and go, wow, if I didn't read this guide, I would not have known that.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, you know, for the MVC3, there's like MVC3 strategy guide. There's like a lot of frame data and stuff like that. You know, and there's also cool art.
What they want to see in there. I was saying it depends on the developer and what they want to see in the guide as well. That's a lot of what dictates what's in there.
Right. So, do you know about WWE 12 at all?
I can't say much about it just because obviously THQ has to announce certain things and all that. I have heard that it's looking very good. I know THQ got a lot of positive feedback from WWE All Stars, and that they are making changes with WWE 12. And everything that I've heard about WWE 12 is very, very positive. So wrestling fans, you guys should be in for a treat with this.